Let's bring in former Tesla President of Global Sales and Service and a GM board member now, Jon McNeill. Jon, it's great to have you on.
Nice to see you, Morgan.
How would you categorize the EV market, whether it's stateside or globally?
I think this is one of the few markets where the U.S. is not ahead in technology. It's actually a step or two behind. And so we get to see kind of what's happening in other markets. And Europe, France and Germany in particular, rolled subsidies off a couple of years ago. And what happened after that, surprisingly, was the market continued to grow. Now, that's largely because the models continue to roll out from other OEMs, much like they have here. So versus a few years ago, we now have 65 model choices of EVs in the U.S. And when you add EVs and hybrids together, 1 out of every 4 cars sold in the U.S. is now electrified. And so what I think that means is, like, we are probably ready at this point. The market's established, and we're probably ready to have a market that can grow without subsidies.
Okay.
And certainly we're offering lower priced EVs, which is definitely having to help a positive impact on this market growing.
Okay, so basically a resetting of the market. The fact that those subsidies, or at least the EV tax credit, expired earlier this week, how much did that impact deliveries at the Teslas of the world that were so much stronger than expected? Was there pull forward in demand?
I think there was pull forward in demand for sure. The dealerships have been busy, and that demand pull forward definitely showed in their quarter. But it showed for everybody else too. Like Tesla was up 7%, but GM doubled their EVs sold in the quarter versus last year. So it was a big push for everyone in the quarter. But interestingly, a lot of those sales happened again at the lower price points, which points to good things for the market going forward.
I've had 3 of these conversations now in the past, call it week, with both investors and OEM executives. And that is this idea that with electric vehicles, maybe they become a power play, if you will, for generating and pushing energy back into the grid, basically acting almost as generators. And this idea that maybe it becomes a temporary or a flexible source of energy. Is this something that you're looking into, or that GM is looking into, or that, is a broader conversation happening across the industry right now?
Definitely. I was getting ready to put a generator in my own house, and then I found out that the Silverado EV that sits in my driveway can power my house for 2 weeks, and it's bi-directional already. And so I do think this is going to be a growing kind of feature, if you will, for consumers to get to not only become aware of, but also to help the grid, because the utility in my area then told me that if I agreed to allow them to have access to that battery capacity for just 20% of the battery capacity, I could get a big break on my utility bills. So I do think this is real. It's emerging. There are only a handful of EVs that do bi-directional today with the home and the grid, but I think we're going to see more and more of that.
Do you think we see policy follow suit, either on a state level or a federal one?
I think definitely on the state level, the states have been more progressive about this, and largely because our grid is decentralized. We have over 1,000 grids in the U.S., and so that makes it more of a state issue than a federal issue. It gets hard for the feds to put policy in place around this, but the states definitely are. And I can speak to my state. They've got aggressive incentives around this at the state level, really to help the utilities keep electricity costs as low as possible, given all the demand from AI data centers and that continued demand curve, but also to help them with generation.